KFIZ News Time 8:13. Good morning to you and welcome to this week's edition of Landscape Smart, brought to you by Rademann Stone and Landscape Company. In studio this morning, back again after a week off, it's the one, the only Ron Rademann. Good to see you back here again.
Well, it's fun to be back. I missed it last weekend. I was over in the Dells. I was teeing off right around this time last Saturday morning.
Okay. So did your game leave you teed off, or was it good?
No, I did pretty well. I hadn't. This is the first time I golfed this whole season, so it was. It started out a little rough on the edges. Let's put it that way. But as we went along, it got better and better, and made a few nice shots, and
there you go.
A few bad shots too. But
well, that's a normal game, isn't it?
Right.
Anyhow, joining us, Master Gardener Delores. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good to see you again as well.
Thank
and the
you.
lines are open for you folks, 923-1450, 1-888-900-1450. If you're bashful and you want to email them to us, kfizstudio@gmail.com. And call early to avoid the 8:59 rush.
As usual.
As usual. Rademann's open?
Yeah, Rademann's is open today, so you can stop on out before noon today here on Saturday morning. Monday through Friday till 4:30. But, it's another nice weekend. It sounds like we might get a shower or two tonight, it's still been dry.
Yeah,
so, we've got, these little rainfalls that we've been getting overnight. It's kind of enough to wash the dust off of the blades of grass, but not get down to the soil. So,
yeah, they've been pretty meager.
But it sounds like tonight we might get a little bit more.
That's what it sounded like.
But we'll find out. That can change.
Let's see. National Weather Service says a tenth to a quarter possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if it's another tenth, well, that doesn't
do much.
A quarter wouldn't hurt. At least it would help the grass and that. It doesn't do much for larger trees.
Yeah.
But it would.
I still got a brown lawn in spots. I mean, it's just dry. It's crispy.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I don't suffer any long-term damage with this dry spell.
Well, and now this coming week, we're going to get some colder temperatures too. We're going to get our first frost, I would say, more than likely, midweek here. It's supposed to get down to 32 or 33 degrees, which typically means we're going to get a frost because they measure that at chest high, not at ground level.
Right.
But then it's supposed to be, back into the 50s. So we're going to have a few colder mornings here in the 10-day outlook. But for the most part, still pretty nice temperatures for the last couple weeks of October.
Mm-hmm. Can't complain.
So,
and it looks like the kids won't need winter jackets for Halloween.
Yeah, unless something changes in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
So
in the 50s, I think, is what they're predicting. Mid-50s, upper 50s.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like here for the next 10 days. Is most of it, it's right in the 50s.
Mm-hmm. All righty, 923-1450. Lines are open. Give us a call if you have a question. It's late season cleanup, and I would imagine some transplanting yet and breaking your perennials apart and sticking them in another spot or whatever.
We're doing some of that, but you have to really water well when you're transplanting this time of year. And if you've got a perennial bed that you're worried about, get the water out, especially under trees, because the trees are sucking moisture. And so your perennials are going to suffer.
Okay. Are we getting anywhere close to time now when we can do a little maple tree trimming, or is it still too early?
No, we're at that point now. Once we get past the middle of October, it might be easier just to wait another week or two till the leaves drop.
Well, mine don't drop till Thanksgiving. I got those reddish maples with the huge leaves that you could eat dinner on if you had to.
Uh-huh.
They don't ever drop.
Yeah, some of those, it takes them another couple weeks, and that's why, it's easier to see what you're doing when there's no leaves on the trees. but you could trim now. If especially if there's a branch or two that's bothering you, let's just say go ahead and trim it. You don't really have to worry. You're not going to promote any more new growth anymore at this time of year now, even if so. So yeah, you could start trimming anytime now.
I did notice this week that the garbage truck and the trash collection truck did some tree trimming for the terrace trees.
Yeah,
There's some branches in the road.
Yeah, that can happen, especially later here in the season as the trees grow. The branches will hang down a little bit lower and get caught that way.
923-1450. Lines are open and the email is available, kfizstudio@gmail.com. And again, if you've got an issue and you're going to Gmail a question, if you can get a picture or two, attach that, because then this gang here of experts can take a look and see exactly what your problem looks like rather than trying to describe it. And podcasts, we haven't talked about that in a little bit.
Oh, sure. Yeah, if you can't listen to the whole show this morning, you can tune back in on either on KFIZ on demand, or otherwise go to YouTube and search Landscape Smart 25, or subscribe to Landscape Smart 25. That's even better yet, and then it'll just pop up every week. Usually on Mondays, the show comes available online. So you can just search Landscape Smart 25, or otherwise go ahead and subscribe, and then it just pops up, and you can either watch it, listen to it, or move on to the next episode.
But so it's all there.
Mm-hmm.
All there. Annuals. We talk perennials all the time. The annuals are still pretty colorful. Just leave them until they're pooped out, and then what do you do? Pull them out? Or
Well, it's up to you. If you want to trim your yard back, just part of your cleanup, but it just depends on your personal taste, what you want to do. Because if you wait until it's cold out, you might not want to go out there and take care of them.
That's kind of what I had in mind.
Well,
Yeah.
and you're going to have to, you're going to have to cover your annuals if you want to keep them any longer. Because there's, like I said, there's going to be a couple days this coming week where we're going to get down, to freezing temperatures. So if you want to keep your annuals, but you did pretty good if you make it until the end of October.
Mm-hmm.
So for the most part, a lot of people are ready to give up on them and move into fall cleanup. Like Delores said, it's a lot easier to do fall cleanup in temperatures like this than waiting another couple weeks.
In the snow.
Then it stays. Then you hope that you get a couple of snows that cover it all up. You don't have to look at it till spring. Question on marigold seeds. When the plants
Dry up.
you get all these seed pods.
Yeah.
And if you don't pick them, they fall off. Do they germinate next year, or?
I had some come up in a pot, and they must have been spread by the birds because I didn't have any marigolds last year. And there was just a clump of 9, and I put 3 in each pot, and they were just beautiful.
Okay. So if the seeds fall, let them fall where they may.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, and that's kind
They're
of the
very hardy.
advantages of of some of the others, coneflowers and black-eyed Susans and brown-eyed Susans and
Pink-eyed Susan.
so a lot of those you'll get some are perennial and some will reseed at the same time. So you end up don't clean those out right away. Let those seeds drop or leave them there as bird seed, bird food too. So
yeah, it's great for the birds, but I do trim some of them away and dry them in paper bags. And the perennials I keep in my barn for maybe 8 weeks. And then we package the seeds up for the Master Gardener Seed Library, that we have the seeds available for our plant sale and our day in the garden and the home show. And I know one of our gals takes it to the community garden, and another gal takes the seeds to the schools where she works. And we get very good response, especially the natives. I just acquired Blazing Star seeds, and I have 4 different kinds of Blazing Star, which is liatris, and the monarchs love them. My friend does photography as a hobby, and he planted liatris in his yard, and he has a video of 40 monarchs on his liatris in his little yard in North Fond du Lac as they migrate through.
They apparently really do like them.
So I have lots of those seeds, and they will be available at the plant sale.
Nice. I guess I didn't realize there were seeds there. I'm always looking at green stuff.
Oh, yes.
Have to keep that in mind next year. And that's coming up, what, in May?
May 9th, yes.
Okay.
So it's the day before Mother's Day is the plant sale. And we have our Day in the Garden conference is a full day again this year. And this year it will be at
MP?
MPTC.
TC.
Yeah. On April 11. And it's open to the public, and we have room for up to 400 people now.
Wow.
Yes.
And you'll probably fill it. All righty, let's take our first break. Wait for our first call.
All right, let's take a little break. Rademann's is open today, so you can stop on out just 3 miles south of Fond du Lac. And the easiest way is to work your way over to Highway 41, and you go south 3 miles to County Trunk B, B as in boy, and then you'll exit off at B to the east, and we're just down the road about a quarter mile.
Be right back. KFIZ News Time 827. We are back. This is Landscape Smart, brought to you by Rademann Stone and Landscape Company. And for your use, the lines are open for your questions. 923-1450, 1-888-900-1450. And email-wise, it would be kfizstudio@gmail.com. Don't be bashful.
And it's not a problem to ask any kind of question. It doesn't mean you have to ask something that's around this season. We're willing to think about it and try to get the right answer for you.
There you go.
Wow, we got an ad from Delores here.
So what about
We
Christmas
do
plans?
like landscape-related questions.
Yeah,
so we don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want to
talk about the Brewers or the Packers.
Well, no, I meant like planting seeds or
Sure.
tilling your garden.
Well, let's find out
when you should mulch.
Let's find out what this caller wants to ask
Excellent.
about. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning. See, I got a couple questions. First one, kind of an easy one. Black walnut trees, they seem to be popping up all over the place on my property. Should I let them grow? I've been told by others that they kind of spread like weeds and kill everything around them. Is that true? Are they a good tree to have popping up?
The black walnut emits something into the soil that is not good for some plants. And like tomatoes don't like it, rhubarb doesn't like it, asparagus isn't too bad, but from a full plant, but seedlings don't grow near it. My hostas like it, but not everything. You really have to research your plant.
Yeah, you should, before you have to kind of do an inventory of the plants you have, around the black walnut. And then it's probably easiest to go on the University of Wisconsin website and look at, because it's not specific families. For example, silver maple and autumn blaze maple are vulnerable to black walnut, but Norway maple isn't. So, you almost have to have look at it as individual plants, not just say not every plant does well or every plant can survive. It's just, and like I said, it's even like specific plants within certain families that are affected. So
yeah, well, they're just kind of popping up out of nowhere in little areas of the property, weeded areas, prairie type areas. And should I let them grow or get rid of them?
Well, that's more personal preference. You know, if you want them to continue to grow and get bigger, you know, just let them go. You know, they can be a little bit of a nuisance if they're, you know, I would probably be maybe somewhat selective and thin them out and let some of them grow if you want some of them, and then just cull out the smaller ones or the ones that are too close. And
So what do they mature to? If I let them grow?
oh, they'll get 50 feet tall. Now, it takes them 50 years to get 50 feet tall, but they will turn into a big tree. So that's why, like I said, if you've got a lot of one, what's probably happening is either, you know, you've got an adjacent tree nearby and the squirrels are planting them, and it could be in your neighbor's yard rather than yours too, and the squirrels will still bring them over and plant them in your yard.
Yeah.
And of course they don't get all of them, so a lot of them will germinate and grow into trees.
So if you don't want a lot of shade in your prairie, you only want a couple of them, you'd want to take some of them out.
Right.
And then you also have the problem with all the nuts on the ground. And they're
And
nasty.
when they hit maturity, they do start dropping a lot of nuts.
A lot.
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
Okay.
Yes. I have one tree, and every other year it had quite a few nuts on it. And I picked them up, and my friend took them to the Amish and sold them. He had a monster tree in his yard. I'd say it was 70 feet long, tall at least. Huge, huge tree. And he would fill his pickup with the nuts. Now, can you imagine the bed of your
Yeah, it's a lot of
pickup
nuts.
picking
A
all
lot
of
of them
those
have-
nuts up? That's a lot of work.
Well, maybe I'll go plant one of these seeds or whatever in the middle of the prairie and let it grow from there. Okay, second question for you. Asparagus patch. Over the last 2-3 years, at this time of year, a little bit further on maybe, I've been going in and cutting down all the weed. The weeds grow like crazy. I have weeds in this patch, and the patch is probably 20 feet by 20 feet maybe. And
nice.
these weeds are popped up, and they are 6-7 feet tall. They started growing in, I'm going to say, probably end of August, middle of August.
Oh.
And they are just kind of like out of control. So I've always gone in and cut it down to the stubs on everything, raked it out of there, and then sprayed a broadleaf killer in there. But these weeds start coming back in like, early July-ish, where they're covering that patch. Anything I can do? Or just keep doing what I'm doing?
Well, your timing is kind of goofed up now, because what really would have worked out the best is if you would have, mowed them off towards the end of August or early September, and then let them grow back just a little bit and then spray them. Where now, if you mow them off, they're pretty well done for the season, and you can't really spray anything on there now to do yourself any good. And I don't really like to spray asparagus patch in the spring, and it's kind of too late in the fall.
Sure.
So you might as well just kind of wing it
Soldier through it.
and
Yeah.
do the way you've been doing it, and then get yourself set up for next year. So the end of August, you could, mow it down to the ground, and then let the weeds and grass kind of start growing again in late August and September, and then spray it in mid-September, and then you'll get it onto the right cycle as far as weed control.
Sure.
Because now you're spraying now, you're about a month too late, so you're not going to get any weed killers, grass killers aren't going to be effective anymore at this time of year.
If you
Well,
started,
should I use some?
if
Go
you
ahead.
would start in April putting down a pre-emergence so your annual weeds would not come out, and then after, for me, 2.5 months, because I don't trust a 3-month, and put it down again to keep your annual weeds from germinating. That would help a lot. If you've got grassy plants in there like like quack, you have to treat that differently.
But like
Okay.
Delores said, if you'd put a pre-emergent down, like preen, for example, if you'd put that down in the early spring, right around maybe the 1st of April or late March, kind of
Right.
right about the time we're starting up with the show would be a good
Yeah.
time to, probably a good time to put your preen down. And
Okay, and just sprinkle that all over the place and keep your fingers crossed. Okay.
The
And
Okay,
that'll
so I'll cut it
eliminate,
down this.
that'll get rid of,
Right.
like Delores said, the annual weeds. And
Yep.
at least you'll have a fighting chance. That isn't going to
Yeah.
do anything for quackgrass.
and you'll be surprised. You're not ready to go work outside, but those weeds are germinating.
Yeah, they're getting started.
Yeah, they get started awful early.
And what for a broadleaf killer would I use in the fall?
Well, then you could use any like Weed Be Gone or anything like that. That would work. And
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing.
and you might have to mix in some cleanup, which is going to be grass killer, but you'd have to look and see if you've got mostly quackgrass or mostly weeds or some combination of the two, because the cleanup won't kill the broadleaf weeds, and the Weed Be Gone or any of those products won't kill the grass. So you might have to do like 2 applications.
Okay, and what's a good grass killer?
Cleanup is the best.
Cleanup, okay.
It's called Cleanup. KLEENUP. Cleanup.
Okay.
That's a real good grass killer.
Okay. Very good. You answered those 2 questions. I thank you much. You have a good day.
And we appreciate the call, and lines are open, 923-1450, 1-888-900-1450. And while we're waiting for the phone to ring, let's take a break.
All right, that sounds like a good idea. So Rademann's is open today, Saturday morning till noon, and you can still get a delivery if you want to work here this weekend. You can give them a call at 920-922-7612 or stop on out just 3 miles south of Fond du Lac, east on County B, a quarter mile.
And we are back. Landscape Smart, brought to you by Rademann Stone and Landscape Company. Ron Rademann here, Delores, a master gardener here, and we have a caller here. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I'm just kind of wondering, what can a person put on a rhubarb plant, like in the fall of the year? The last couple of years, I haven't had real good rhubarb success.
Well, you need a good fertilizer around it, maybe a bag of composted manure, and put some mulch around it to protect it a little bit.
What
Yeah.
would be like all-purpose fertilizer? Because I think I got some 10-10-10 here.
Yeah, that would be good actually. Out at Rademann's, we have a lawn starter fertilizer, and that's a good balanced fertilizer also. But 10-10-10 would be good, and you could be putting that down any time here now.
Yeah, because I don't know if the plant is getting old or what it is, but my neighbors, they seem to have very, very good luck. But the stems were very, very small this year, even from the start. Normally you get some pretty thick, for the first couple clippings, but this year it wasn't all that much.
Well, and doing it, fertilizing at this time of year is ideal, because while the ground temperatures are still warm enough, you'll get good root development. So fertilizing here in October works out really well, no matter what if you're fertilizing, rhubarb or asparagus or perennials or anything for that matter. So it's an ideal time to fertilize.
Yeah, and then you suggest probably mulching. I put like some grass clippings, over the top where I had some excess grass. I kind of raked them up, and then I kind of put them on the rhubarb plant, just grass clippings, but they say manure, compost. I just wonder, can a person pick that up from like Menards or Fleet Farm, I wonder?
Yes, they carry They carry composted manure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think you'd have any problems, finding that. You could even, depending on where you're at, you could go to Hensey Floral or Hounsel's Greenhouse or out
Sure.
to Stewart's or something like that. We don't carry products like that at Rademann's,
right.
but any of those local garden centers should have it. Sometimes the big boxes don't have that stuff. It's out of season
Right.
at those places. So, they got Christmas
Ornaments are out.
Christmas is set up not composted manure at those places
Right.
at this time of year.
Right.
Right.
So it's a little difficult to find it. So I would probably go to a garden center. It'd be a little easier to get a hold of it at this time of year.
Because some people I talk to, they say that composted manure really, the rhubarb plants really love that.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I would be a little skeptical about putting grass clippings in my garden on something that I would eat, because have you been using herbicides?
No.
Okay.
No.
And how about weed seeds?
I just have Naturescape pretty well takes care of I get 5 treatments per year with Naturescape. And they just were over here yesterday, and they laid down them real little white crystals. They went with a spreader. Now, evidently, that's supposed to be the last application for this year, is what they told me. It's the white crystals.
Yeah, it's hard to say what that would be. It's a little early to be doing
That's kind of what I thought too.
for that, to be putting down your winterizer. If we get some warm, wet weather, you'll be mowing to beat the band here in October and November. So I would recommend, anybody else, don't be doing your winterizing this early. I would wait another couple 3 weeks, get it into November.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too, because I had quite a few leaves that fell down. So they called me the day before and said they'll be out tomorrow to do the lawn, and I went with the lawnmower and the bagger on to pick up some of the heavier leaves. But they said just some of the smaller leaves. Don't worry too much about that, because I see a few of them fell down the other night before they came, and I went out and looked after they went through with the spreader, and there was some of those white crystals like on the leaves. But then they said too, when it rains a little bit, that'll be dissolved and whatever.
Wash off, yeah.
They said just leave the leaves lay there for a little while, and then if you want to go through with something, go through with a mulcher blade on it, and grind them up. The leaves and the crystals probably will still stay there, But they're little white crystals like a snowflake,
Yeah, it's probably, just, granular fertilizer, I'm sure is what it is.
It was like the 20 or 30-00 is what it said on the receipts.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's the winterizer or what the...
It said something about nitrogen.
Right. Yeah, that would be your winterizer. There isn't going to be any like weed control or anything like that.
Right.
In there.
Because I asked them, I said, "Is this the last application?" And they said this would be the last application. 5 treatments.
Yeah, it would have been better if they would have did the second last treatment a few weeks ago and then waited a few more weeks and did the last treatment. But,
right.
But, they have a busy schedule too, and they can't get everybody at the ideal time, I guess. So
no, it's just the way it works. Okay, well, thank you very much for the info, and you all have a nice day.
You do the same, and we thank you for your call, and lines are open, 923-1450, 1-888-900-1450. Email, it's kfizstudio@gmail.com.
Got it.
Up to you.
Well, we can talk about...
I'm out of questions.
All right. Well, if you're tuning in late, you can listen to the beginning of the show just go on YouTube and search Landscape Smart 25, and you can take on the beginning of the show again. And Looks like we got a call, Jerry.
We do. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi.
Yeah, so I have some hardy mums that I've times stopped right around the 4th of July, and they're just now starting to bloom. Did I wait too long, or are hardy mums just a little later?
And mine are late this year. I have very small blooms. They aren't all open yet.
Okay.
It's still early enough yet. You should get, we're still only middle of October. You can get a couple weeks of blossoms out of those yet.
Okay. Now, so they're not as full as like the ones you buy from the garden centers. Is there, if I pruned them twice, should I have pruned them more, fuller, or is that a different kind of breed of mum that the garden centers use?
Yeah, well, they're under ideal conditions. Most of those are growing in greenhouses, and they're trimming them and fertilizing them at optimal times, where you in your yard, you kind of do it, you might be off by a few days or a week on the trimming or the fertilizing and all that. So it's probably never going to be quite like most people aren't quite as good as the professionals.
True.
Or they're too busy to be quite, for the growers of mums, it's all about the timing. So they got to make sure that they're right on, literally within a day or two of the timing, to make sure that they're looking optimally at this time of year. So, when you're doing it in your own yard, it's never quite as simple as that.
And this year we've had very little rain in the last 2 months, so your plants really would have had to be heavily watered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I watered them a little bit, but not heavily watered. So
yeah,
they're going to bloom.
Yeah, and then if you're watering them, they can require a little more fertilizer and things like that too. And if you're not watering them, well, then you can't be fertilizing them. So
what kind of fertilizer should I put on the mums then next year?
Well, some of those water-soluble fertilizers, the Fertilome or, Miracle Grow, those work pretty good. They're easy to do. You're just mixing them up in a sprinkling can and watering them. And then as you're watering, you're fertilizing at the same time. That's generally about the easiest and simplest way to do it. And, and if you're watering them a couple times a week, you don't need to fertilize them every time, but if you put a little Miracle Grow or Fertilome in the watering can, maybe one out of 4, 1 out of 5 times you're watering, it would be ideal. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'd use the same thing I would water my container.
Sure.
Flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All righty. Well, good luck with the project.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. It might be too late for this year to
Bye.
to get them. Now you just need some nice weather here yet to get the blossoms going.
True.
So.
Final break.
All right. Rademann's open till noon today on Saturday. Open Monday through Friday till 4:30. And the easiest way to get to us is work your way over to Highway 41 and then be 3 miles south of Fond du Lac, east on County B.
Alrighty, we are back. The final few minutes of this week's edition of Landscape Smart, brought to you by Rademann Stone and Landscape Company. We did have somebody trying to call when we were talking to the last caller, but with this phone system, I can't, off the air, answer the call and put you on hold. So if you had a question, give us a call back, 923-1450, 1-888-900-1450. Last call for emails at kfizstudio@gmail.com. Some good questions today, a variety of stuff. And, this late in the year, you kind of wonder, what's somebody going to ask? And a lot of good questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked earlier about pruning, and I was just going to bring up that, we still don't want to be doing any trimming of evergreens at this time of year. When we talk that it's okay to trim leafy trees, leafy shrubs. You could be, cutting back your spirea. It won't be long. You could cut back your hydrangeas and things like that. But, and for the most part, cut them back a little bit. Don't cut them right back to the ground. It's a little early to be cutting them dramatically like that. But don't do evergreens. If you trim your evergreens or even boxwood or anything like that, the tips will burn at this time of year. Well, they won't burn at this time of year. They'll burn in February and March and April, and then you'll have the tips will be all brown, and
then you have to trim them.
And then you'll have to trim them again. So, if you trim evergreens at this time of year, you're going to be trimming them again to cut those brown tips off, and then sometimes you can end up trimming them back a little bit too far, because if you cut 6 inches off now, and then you have to cut another couple inches off in the spring because of those dead tips, then pretty soon you're starting out with a half of a plant for next year. So again, limit your trimming on evergreens at this time of year. Wait until spring or early summer to do those. So
Good tip.
Lawn fertilizer, I would hold off just a couple weeks here yet. Wait with your winterizer, and with the one caller, make sure that when you put your winterizer down, you clean up all your leaves first, because if you put your winterizer on your leaves and then
they blow away.
And then your leaves blow away, or you could end up with a pretty erratic pattern, as the leaves. So, clean up the leaves and then put your winterizer down. But I would wait a couple more weeks yet. It's just, we've got warmer weather yet for the most part. A lot of 50s and a few 60s coming up here yet in the next, the 10-day outlook. So, it'd be better to wait until November to put your step 4 down. So I know everybody thinks it's getting a little too late, but what you don't want is your lawn to start growing here again the end of October. And if you put your winterizer down too early, that's what'll happen. So
bear it a little bit longer.
Yeah, just kind of sit tight, relax this weekend, and get your. It's a good time to go out and buy it and get it ready and be prepared, but I'd leave it in the bags yet for right now.
Okay. Good advice. Got 1 minute left. If you have a quickie, call 923-1450, and then we'll be back again next week to take your calls, and you can email questions in during the week too if you think about it, because Sean will print them out and save them for us on Saturday.
Sure.
So if you think of a question during the week and you're afraid you're not going to remember it on Saturday, I'd be guilty of that. Email it in.
Yeah, or if you're taking pictures, sometimes it's better to take a picture on a Thursday or a Friday than a Saturday morning.
All right, we're less than a minute. What's your quick question?
Okay, I have a mature garden, and this year I got a new weed in it. It looks like a strawberry. It's got tiny little buds on it. And I'm trying to figure out what I can put on there for next year. I've been pulling them, and they come right back.
I tell you what, we're out of time. Can you give us a call next Saturday or email it in?
Sure, I can. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, because we are out of time.
Yep, yeah, that's unfortunately we're down to the last few seconds. So Rademann's is open today till noon, Monday through Friday till 4:30. 920-922-7612 if you still want to get a delivery yet today.
All righty, our thanks to Master Gardener Delores, our thanks to Ron Rademann, and as always, our thanks to you for your questions.